Alright, so the next transaction is a sales transaction. We are selling two laptops for rupees 12,000 to a buyer called Ultra Technologies, which is located in the same state as the seller. So in this transaction, CGST and SGST would be applicable. So you can see the calculation over here, and we have some additional information. So the information is that we need the invoice number to be in the following format. By default, the invoice number begins with the number 1, 2, 3 and so on. But we can specify our own format. So here the format is something like the invoice number is prefixed with the letters MS, which stands for Max Solutions, and the invoice number begins with the number 101, and then it is suffixed by the financial year 2019 and 2020. So we need to modify the sales voucher so that it can include the given invoice number. So how do we do that? I will show you in the same example. So now let's record the given transaction. So before recording the sales voucher, we need to modify the sales voucher so that it can include the invoice number according to our format. So to modify voucher, you need to select the option Accounts Info, then select the option Voucher Types, and select the option Alter over here, and select the voucher that you want to modify. So I want to modify the sales voucher, so I will search it and select it. Navigate to the field Method of Voucher Numbering. In this field you need to specify one of the numbering methods. So the method automatic will increase the invoice number in serial order. In case if your invoice number begins with the number 101, the next invoice would be 102 and followed by 103, 104 and so on. And the method automatic with manual override will increment the invoice number in serial order, but it will also let you modify the invoice number according to your needs. So in between the series, if you wish to enter a different invoice number, then you can do it with the method automatic manual override. So once you specify the given number, the series would be continued from that number. For example, if I have a series which begins with number 1, 2, 3 and so on, and I recorded invoices up to the number 10, and after that if I specify the invoice number as 20, then the invoice number would be continued from the number 21, 22 and so on. So this is how automatic manual override works. And with the method manual, you need to enter the invoice number every time you record a sales entry. But I would suggest you to select either of these methods. So either go with the method automatic or go with automatic with manual override. For this example, I would select the option as automatic and change the option Use Advanced Configuration to Yes and press enter. So over here we can specify the format of our invoice. So I want my invoice to begin with the number 101 and press enter. And in the field width of numerical part, you can specify the size of your number. So for example, if I specify the width as 5 and if I set the option prefill with 0 to yes, then the invoice number would begin with the number 101, which is a 3-digit number. But since I specified the width of the numerical part as 5, my invoice number would look something like 00101, which is a 5-digit number. And since the invoice number begins with 101, the rest of the digits would be filled with 0. So this is how width of numerical part and prefill with 0 option works. And for this example, I don't want to specify any width of numerical part, and I don't want it to prefill with 0. Now in the field Restart Numbering, you need to specify a series which should be applicable from the given date. So I want my series to be effective from 1st of June 2019. and I want it to begin with the number 101, and I want this series to be continued up to 1 year. Now in the next line you can specify another series and its applicability. So I want this new series to begin at the beginning of new financial year, and it should begin with the number 101, and it should continue up to 1 year. So notice that the first series would be applicable from the month of June, but from the next year onwards I want the series to begin from the new financial year itself. So I am specifying that information here itself. So you can keep specifying the restart numbering series, and after you specify this information, press the enter key and specify the prefix details. So I want the prefix details to be applicable from 1st of June again in the year 2019. I want to prefix my invoice with the following letters, and I will press the enter key. So in the second line you can specify new prefix details, but I want to continue with the same prefix details in the upcoming financial year. So I won't specify new prefix details over here, and then I will go on to specify the suffix details. So I want the suffix to be applicable from the 1st of June 2019, and the suffix should contain the financial year information, and from 1st April 2020 onwards the suffix should change to the new financial year information like this. So I have entered all the required details, and I will press Ctrl A to save those details, and press Ctrl A again to save the voucher alteration. Now we will record the entry. Press the escape key and reach gateway of Tally, and select accounting vouchers and press F8 to open sales voucher. Notice the sales voucher number has changed to the format which we have specified, and if I change the date to 1st of April 2020, you can see that the sales voucher is reflecting the new series, and you can see the suffix details. It is showing the financial year information as 2020 and 21, and the series is beginning with the number 101. So you can see that this is how we can modify the sales voucher number. Now let's record the sales voucher. So right now the voucher number is 101 because I deleted the previous sales entries. So there were 2 entries which I deleted, so the number has changed to the number 101 over here. So now let's record the entry, and I already created the buyer's ledger with its respective details. So you can see what all details which I have provided over here, and make sure that you enter the address information, specifically the country information, state information and PIN code, and the GST number, because all those information will be required to generate e-way bill number. So this is the information about the buyer. In the field party account name, you need to specify the name of the buyer. So select Ultra Technologies over here, and you will be provided with a party details screen. So over here you need to enter some information. So entering this information will be helpful at the time of printing the invoice, and it is not mandatory to enter information over here, but I will explain the use of each field over here. So the field delivery note number is used to specify the delivery note number. So in case if you have already sent the goods to the buyer, and you are generating the invoice now, and you have sent a delivery note at the time of sending the goods, so you can specify the delivery note number as something like delivery note number 101 and press the enter key, and specify the date of delivery over here. So in case if I had sent the goods on 3rd of August, then I would have specified that date over here. And the dispatch document number is issued by the dispatch department. So if it had issued a dispatch note number, then you can specify it over here. And in the field dispatch through, you can select the transporter through which you have transported the goods. In the field destination, you need to specify the destination of the buyer. So I will keep it as Bangalore itself. And in the field bill of lading or LR number, you need to specify the LR number which the transporter has issued and the date on which it was issued. And in the field motor vehicle number, you can specify some motor vehicle number through which the goods were transported. And in the field order number, you can specify the purchase order number, which is a document sent by the buyer specifying the requirement of goods. So in case if the buyer has sent a document with the purchase order number 1234, then you can specify it over here. And if in case if you have generated your own order number, then you can specify it over here, which you can remember. So if you are sending these goods against the order number 10, so you can specify it over here. So you can either enter the purchase order which was sent by the buyer, or you can specify your own sales order number over here. So now press the enter key and specify the date on which you have received the order. And in the field mode or terms of payment, you can either specify the type of the payment as cash or through NEFT or by check or anything. And for the field order reference, you can specify additional details like something like this. And in the field terms of delivery, you can provide any delivery terms information like and the buyer's details would be selected from the ledger creation itself. So after entering all these details, press Ctrl A to save the information. Now in the field sales ledger, you need to select the sales ledger that you want to account for this transaction. And in the name of the item, specify the items that you are selling. So I am selling a Lenovo IdeaPad. So you can see that as of now we have 5 units of these items available with us. So I will select it and specify the quantity which I am selling. So I am selling 2 units of this laptop. Now in the field rate inclusive of tax, you can enter the price of this item which is inclusive of tax, or you can specify the rate without the tax inclusion. So I will select the price as 12,000 exclusive of tax, and the total invoice amount would be 24,000 rupees. And I am not selling any other items which I need to specify over here. So I will press the enter key again and specify the ledger C GST, which will be auto calculated, and specify the ledger S GST, which will be auto calculated as well. Now at this point, if I want to print this invoice, I need to press the shortcut key Alt P to print this invoice, and press the letter Y to print the invoice. So first it will preview the invoice format. So you can see here all those extra details which we specified, like the order delivery note number and the buyer's order number and the transport details. It will all be displayed over here. So we will discuss about printing options at the later stage, but here I wanted to demonstrate how additional information is used in the invoice. So press the escape key to come out of the printing mode and press Ctrl A to save this entry. And When you sell goods on credit, the bill-wise detail screen would be captured automatically in item invoice mode.